All right, Madhab is here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what's
Let's
up,
start.
bro? What's up, bro? How you doing?
Hi, yeah.
Okay, so we'll resume where we left off, around like halfway or little just halfway.
Yeah,
I think we discussed this hand as well.
yeah. This pocket three hands, we should start with that.
Yeah, pocket threes hand. Oh yeah, I guess we missed this. This I
Yeah.
think is a definite fold.
Mm.
Can you tell me as to what made you think about raising here, considering that there's a short stack who has limped under the gun, and there's 8 big blind stack on the button. So any reasoning as to why you thought raising was right?
No, I don't think raising was right, but I have so many chips, so I just wanted to like play very wise.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, I guess I can't really say anything to that, but yeah, I would definitely suggest just fold pre. And yeah, like the standard, use a blocker hand, and
Sorry,
I
Yeah,
would just suggest
clapping
fold
one.
pre. Yeah, and use a blocker hand instead. I wouldn't even suggest limping. I don't think that's good either. So just fold pre.
okay.
What happens? Yeah. Okay, we get a raise from the hijack. Any reads on the button, bro? It looks like he has been playing pretty unorthodox and has flatted this one off 10 big blinds.
Button was playing. He was playing passively and playing very wide, but he was not very aggressive. His
Got it.
stats were like 36 and 4.
Oh, got it. So he was not raising at all and just trying to call.
Yeah.
Okay. Still think Queen Jack off is a good defend. Flop goes check, check. Obviously, we can never read out on the flop. It's a flop that flavors the pre-flop advantage. So we'll check it. On this turn, what do you think, bro?
There is once this people whether check that he should not have queen at least. Maybe he can have some backdoor on pocket nines and tens. So I think we should bet small, like three big blinds.
Okay. I like the idea. I like the idea. So you're saying that when these people check the flop, they never have a queen, right?
Maybe some weak queens they can have, maybe queen nine suited or queen ten suited.
Yeah, but like it's not a big portion of their range, let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, most of the range is going to consist of hands like you mentioned, hands like pocket nines, pocket tens, has like ace eight, king eight, and maybe even straight draws like 9, 10, jack 10, and maybe some backdoor flush draws. So
Yeah.
versus that kind of a range, I think like what you said, you can bet anywhere between half pot, you can bet maybe even like you go for a third sizing, which I think is fine as well. I think at this point you just want to be extracting max value from anything that your opponent wants to continue with. So yeah,
Mm.
I would just say don't go smaller than 33 though. I think 33% is a nice sizing, but yeah, you want to try to extract value as well. So you have to be betting because some of the times at least. Here we get both folds.
So in pure GPV, I would like to bet like half pot, but this was like maybe close to bubble. This might be. It was time was 11:06.
Got it. Got it. So if this is close to the bubble, then you're right. Under ICM circumstances, we don't want to be risking too much of a stack as well, and we would use a lot of small bets. So it makes sense to go small. Okay, I guess this is the bubble as well. What do you think here?
Mm. This player, this is confusing. I think I named it.
Yeah. I actually like jam.
Mm.
yeah, like you mentioned, if it's still the bubble, then this is actually a beautiful candidate to jam. You had also just recently mentioned that the machine mic, the cutoff here was
Yeah,
playing like limp passive, right? Like if you were mentioning that.
yeah,
And
yeah. He was
versus that
mostly
range, yeah, versus that range just smash the stack in their face. There's no reason. The person to your left also has to fold a lot because like they have insane amounts of like bubble pressure, meaning that they need to make the bubble or like they'll be losing a lot of money. So they will also have to be playing a pretty narrow range.
yeah. And
Yeah.
also we are both talking. We had the
Yeah. So in these situations with a blocker, I would just say go crazy, like Aryan style, like just send it on their faces, and there's nothing that they can do.
yeah.
Yeah, limping just really bad. Just can't do anything. Okay, nothing got it right.
You, Raghav, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
What's up? Bro, the ace deuce hand, how are you going to construct your range in that spot? Like, what else are we like jamming in terms of like a bluffs? You're
Yeah,
only going blocker heavy?
yeah, we're not going to be balanced here at all, bro. Because simply
Okay, okay.
because like so we have a massive stack, right? Like
Right,
even losing 20 big blinds to the person left of us doesn't really matter. We're going to keep on marching on.
right.
Yeah, especially on the bubble, we have to be putting insane amounts of pressure.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter if most of our hands here are just ace X or king X heavy. People
Okay.
just
Okay.
can't really do anything. Even if Ivy League is sitting to the left with like ace 10, he's not
Right.
really comfortable calling it off on the bubble.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Even ace jack probably has to fold, like I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we can just go ham and not really worry about whether we
Cool,
have bluff.
cool, cool. Because
Like,
my
oh,
thought process behind this spot was like I would rather like go with like a suited combo than an offsuit combo. But yeah, bro, like makes sense only if I'm going to get him to fold
yeah,
everything besides like ace queen plus. I think it's decent. Don't need to like jam.
100%. And bro, like when this opponent, I guess there's some disturbance.
Someone has to go on mute.
Yeah. Sai, can you help us
Yeah,
out
I'm
with it?
muting you. Guys, guys, please be muted, okay?
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
Pratik, I would just not
yeah,
be balanced at all and go
yeah.
ham.
Will you jam hands like 9-10 suited and all?
I think yeah, bro. I think
Yeah,
we
no?
have
Yeah.
we have so much just freedom to do whatever we want to in this spot.
Yeah, yeah. Fair,
Yeah,
fair.
all those equity related hands are just coming.
Fair, fair.
Okay.
One
Okay.
question here.
Previous hand?
No, just generally about this hand review.
Yeah.
Is it what tournament is it? Because I know, I mean, I'm sure the playing style will be different in lower stakes versus mid and higher stakes.
Yeah.
So,
So
uh,
this is Madhab 5500 Moneymaker deep run. So the Moneymaker is the 5500 for 1 crore that runs on
right,
Pokerbootcampindia.
got it. Okay,
And yeah, a camper Madhapal has gone really deep in this tournament, and we're going to be reviewing that. And this is
okay,
the second half of the tournament. So you're going
okay.
to be
All right,
seeing
thanks.
some ICM spots and some pretty nice hands.
All right, thanks.
Right, we RFI. So Madhab, how would you approach playing this situation, bro? Is this still on the bubble?
Let's see. The time is 11:10. This should be still the bubble. Maybe up to 11:25. I'm not sure, but 11:25 maybe the bubble.
Okay. Okay, fine. So even if we have just crossed the bubble, it looks like the biggest stack on the table has flattened to your left.
Yeah.
And so like how do you start playing this situation? We have top pair as well. How do you approach it?
Okay. So against these stacks, I think mm, we should be very polarized, and Queen Jack should be on the marginal side. So maybe we should check out the position.
Yeah, I agree entirely. I don't think we necessarily need to be always polar, but I think in this spot we're going to be having a lot of check raises as well. A lot of our strongest hands want to check raise, and maybe we would want to be betting some of the time as well, but not always. So I don't think this will be a range bet 33% kind of situation, if you will. Yeah, so I think either way is fine. You can start with the check versus half pot. I think calling is best.
Yeah,
I don't really think
calling.
raising accomplishes too much. We want to keep all of his bluffs in. That's how a hand like Queen Jack makes the money. So I think just call is good. Turn is a nice brick. 5 of clubs. He bets like a 44% or 45% sizing, and I'm never folding. I just think these sizings are super value heavy. It's just always like ace queen, king queen, hands like oh, it's good that we blocked the queen x of clubs, I guess. But okay, I think we don't really have an option. We'll always call. Interesting
Yeah.
river, an interesting river decision.
So this player was not a very good player. His stats are like 40, 48, 14.
Oh
And,
wow, okay,
and he was like post flop, he was betting a lot. So
got it.
that's why I just wanted to block and don't want to face the bet.
Got it. I actually really like this. I think as an exploit versus a player who is unorthodox and doesn't really think through things the same way you do. I like a block really nice. He calls as well, and we take it
Maybe he
down.
had
Wonderful,
queen
wonderful,
10 or
wonderful,
yeah. He was
wonderful.
flattening very wide. Maybe he had queen 9 suited.
Yeah. Okay.
Even
Okay.
he can have an 8 also. If
Yeah.
the term sizing look like.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. It looks mostly only like a queen, this turn sizing, because in my opinion, even bluffs would want to bet bigger, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just looks like a queen. I'm glad we had the best queen. Nice hand. 1 second. Is queen jack an open here? Yes. Seven-handed, especially with a massive amount of chips, queen jack off can definitely be opened profitably. Okay, another queen
I
jack.
had a, sorry, I just had a quick question, Raghav.
Yeah,
And
sure.
before this, you mentioned we have some check raises as well. So on the flop, if we bet small instead of half, do you think we should check raise this combination?
Even then, I would not check raise queen jack. I would only check raise ace queen, king queen, and hands like pocket eights, pocket threes sometimes, and aces and kings. But
Are
I
we not,
think,
are we
sorry,
not always betting king, queen, ace, queen when we have it here?
no, we are not always betting it. We want to be check raising it some of the time, and we want to be betting it some of the time because it's not like so the in position player is going to be flatting a lot of queen x hands as well. Hands exactly like ours. Hands like queen jack suited, king queen suited, ace queen suited are almost always flatted. He has pocket eights fully in his range as well. So it's not like we really have a range advantage. And in these kind of situations, we don't want to always bet or always check. Our range will almost always be mixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So queen jack off is not a hand that is strong enough to check raise, while it is a hand that is very good as a check call and catches a lot of bluffs.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. We defend the big blind versus the 2.5. He bets third. What do you
Is
think
this
here, bro? Madhab, I
going on
think
hand post bubble or pre bubble?
this is post bluff.
Post bubble. Okay.
Yeah. So, Madhab, what do you think
So,
here?
yeah. So I think my decline depending range, uh, king queen should be there and queen jack should be there. And this
Yeah.
guy actually was opening wider, little wider, and he was c betting like a lot. So his c betting stat is 75%, and his stats like 27 and 20.
Got
So
it.
against that, maybe I shall check raise sometime or call sometime. With queen jack, I like to check raise. Even
Yeah,
queen 10, I might check 10.
I agree. I agree. With Queen Jack, I like a check raise as well most of the time. The reasoning behind that, in my opinion, is we never have ace queen here, right? Because that's hand
Yeah,
that always three bets.
yeah,
So the strongest check raises should come from hands like Queen, King Queen, and Queen Jack. Yeah, and obviously combo draws and like two pairs and stuff. But I think the best top pairs also want to check raise, and Queen Jack is right in there.
yeah.
Nice check raise. We get the fold. Okay, a player has raised a 2.5, even though there's limp. I like going anywhere like 7.5 to 8 over here. Okay, go for a bigger sizing. I think we brought this up also before. Maybe you can lower down your three bet sizings a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, we
With
get
with
snap
these
fold.
strong hands. Yeah.
Sorry, come again.
With these strong hands, queen's flush.
Yeah. Especially, yeah, these kind of nutted hands versus weaker players, I think you definitely want to incentivize them to enter the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, even something like 9 is okay, bro. I think 10 starts to scare away everybody. Yeah, even 9 is fine. 8.5, 8, all of these are really nice sizings.
So in these mid stages and late stages, when there is one limp and one 2.5 big blind, I from out of position, I just like to take whatever in the middle. So that's why I like to raise it from out of position.
From
Maybe in
out of
position, I
position.
would raise 7.5.
So the usual, so what Owen has at least mentioned to us is that the usual sizings in position are 3 and the usual
Yeah,
sizings out of position are 3.5. So I'm not even saying stick to that. I'm just saying don't make it so big that you're just carrying your opponent away. Now I understand that this works when you have ace king and ace king alone, but your other hands or the EV of your other hands hurt a lot when you start to do that. Right? Like when you do this with ace king and the person folds, you're very happy. You take down the pot. You think you played it well. But when you have aces through jacks, you do this and they fold. You feel really, really bad because like if you had made it smaller, chances are they might have entered the pot and you could have stacked them.
yeah, that makes sense. Even the razor 35 degrees. You can
Yeah.
see.
I mean,
Yeah.
you don't mind making it that sizing against like a sticky opponent, right? But you don't want to
Yeah.
make it against someone who's open folding a lot, basically, right?
100%. Yeah. Pratik is exactly right. So if this opponent or if you had a read on your opponent that he was like super sticky, doesn't fold the three bets at all, then I would definitely suggest it. But as you can see, he has like folded two times to three bets already. So I would definitely make it only
Yeah,
small.
so basically, like from what I remember, these are like important adjustments that Owen asked us to make in game also when we are choosing our three bet sizing also, right? Like if you're
Yeah.
playing against a reg, then it's fine to use the standard sizing. But if you're playing against a recreational player, it's always good to mix it up because then if you know that your opponent is going to call your three bets, then with the hands like queen, yeah, you surely can go 10, maybe even 11 BB if you know he's going to call, right? So you're going to extract that much value basically.
Yeah. Just try to max exploit your opponent always.
Raghav, shouldn't we be like this ripping ace king here?
Ripping ace king here. Sure, bro. I think you can definitely go for it. Ace king
Yeah.
is probably the only hand that
I would
rips, but like it's also the only hand that kind of is allowed to rip, if you will, because like it just does so well in all-ins. It like the hand really doesn't
How
care what.
about nines and tens? Are we ripping tens probably as well?
So that these situations become dicey. So ripping a hand like pocket nines and pocket tens is more dependent on express trainer limping range and this person's RFI range or like ISO range. So I wouldn't really base that purely on anything else apart from whether I have a read on them or something. I guess somebody is using the screen. It looks like they've made a mark here. Can anybody see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea how this happened, but okay. Just give me a moment, guys. Poker trackers.
Can you also remove the show equity? I think because that
Where is this? Can I remove the show equity?
In the options, you can see show equity. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Right, let's move on. Okay, so we've raised the low jack and the cutoff is called. Interesting. I think I would approach this similarly as well. I think we can start with the bet. I don't see too many merits to check raising this hand, while C betting kind of holds your range in the same position. A lot of hands that do want to C bet. It's not like I actually don't think he flats any 4x here. So our opponent's range is basically only comprised of like middling pairs and high Broadway. So versus that kind of range, I think we can start with the range bet and see where it goes.
And
Our opponent folds, nice hand.
Raghav, question.
Yeah, of course, bro.
How are you going to approach this spot in chip EV?
I think this is close to chip EV only, which is why I
Okay,
think I
so
would
so
approach.
sizing on these kind of board textures, are you always choosing small sizings?
No, no, not always. So
Not always.
a hand like Jack 10 of diamonds might benefit more from like betting half pot or bigger. Right? A
Right,
hand
okay.
like Queen 9 of diamonds, even like flush draws, even a hand like pocket sevens, pocket eights, pocket sixes, all
Right,
these benefit from betting big. But a hand
right,
like ace nine suited, when you bet big, you take away all of their floats.
right, right,
You're
right.
only
So,
left with middling pairs, and
right.
it kind of becomes dicey when you go up against a
Right.
super.
So basically going big on this board also kind of caps our opponent's range when he calls, right?
Exactly.
So you would rather go big
it
with
is
backdoor equity
Yeah.
and protection. Right, right, right.
And with hands, so I would go big with hands that get immediate better hands to fold. And
Okay,
what I
okay.
mean by that is hands like Jack 10 of diamonds, when you bet big, you immediately get Queen Jack suited, King Queen suited to fold, which
Yeah,
does not
yeah,
flush
yeah.
draw or a backdoor flush draw.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, so
Cool,
dual purpose. Yeah.
cool. Thanks.
Okay, we take it down. Looks like our opponent here is flatting a ton. I guess like his flatting range here should not be that loose at all.
his
And
stats was like 48%.
oh, you mentioned that he was playing 40-40, right?
He was setting.
Okay, okay, okay. Interesting flop. How would you approach this, Madhab?
King Queen is like it's kind of on the top of my range. King Queen
Hmm?
and Ace Queen, I like to bet. But even Queen Jack and Queen Ten, I also like with the guard shot. So King Queen maybe I have bet. I would bet her.
Yeah, I like it as
Maybe
well. I think we
so.
should bet small.
Small.
Okay, you go for a check. I don't mind the check as well, to be honest. These are also boards where like he has pocket eights, pocket nines, 10 jack full frequency. Like you said, so if he's playing a wide VPIP range, he's going to be even flatting hands like Queen 10, Queen Jack, Queen 9 suited, Queen 8 suited. I don't think it's far from reality. So even checking is not the worst thing. And when he checks back, we kind of know we're always ahead, and I would start betting turns. This turn is a little dicey. However, I still think we're ahead only, and I would start to bet small. It's unlikely that our opponent has a 9. Let's see. Nice sizing, half pot seems good. I would still go for river value. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm folding, bro. I don't see any reason or any way we can call. Mm, yeah, it does not really look incentivizing at all. It either looks like he has slow played a hand like pocket eights or something, or a hand like 9-10-9 jack seems very, very in the range. So I would just fold. Yeah, good fold. Maybe even turn you can go smaller also. Because like I guess the range that you're trying to target are hands like ace 10, ace jack, pocket sevens, pocket sixes, right? Like there's nothing more that checks the flop.
And
So
he
for
has
those, yeah, sorry.
very wide range, so I think that we should go small only.
Yeah, it's
One
a
time.
very wide range. So yeah, I would definitely try to just get him to call whatever little possible. Yeah, maybe going half pot doesn't seem too good in
So in
hindsight.
these spots, I know like for 10,
बच्ची को बाजू
10 or ace 10 or
ट्रिप
any
करनी
jack
पड़ती
eight with the gut that
Just
that
1 second, bro, Madhab.
okay.
Side.
Bro, I'm just unmuting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, sir.
okay. So in
Yeah.
these spots, like any 10x or any jack x will call. That's like
Yeah.
against this kind of players who like plays a lot of hands. I want to go to out of position.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. If you think your opponent
Hello.
is station,
Ah,
then I
Pratik.
would definitely.
One second, 1 second.
Guys, you are not muted. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, though, Madhab. I think versus a station, it makes a lot of sense to go bigger. Unfortunate that you have to fold, but I think it's the right decision. I don't see any bluffs at all on the river by our opponent. So I think it's okay to fold.
Raghav, why are we checking the flop? There is so much value to bet on the flop, no?
There is so much value, but you also have a lot of better hands. So think about your entire range as a whole, bro.
Bro, I mean, my entire range consists of aces, kings, ace, king, ace, queen, queen, king, queen, jack there, queens. I think jack
Correct.
can
Now it
probably.
also consists of pocket queens, pocket eights, pocket nines, 10 jack,
Yeah.
and aces, kings, queens, right? So when all of those hands are there for your best value portion, why do you want to include king, queen also as an always bet? Right? It's not like your opponent doesn't have strong hands. Your opponent also has most of the strong hands except for pocket queens. So like in these situations, we want to, especially when we're out of position, bro, it's important to understand your opponent's range before kind of building the pot. Yeah. So when you
Our
build the
opponent ranges consist of a lot of hands that we still crush, right? He has
yeah,
hands like queen 10, queen jack, 8, 9, 8, 10. Like, let's say we are not crushing 8, 9,
we
but 8,
have
8, 10, 8 jack, 9 jack, 9, 10, some queen 10 maybe. Sometimes he has a queen king only.
I agree, bro. But what happens in these situations is if you always bet your king queen, then you're almost always going to be betting hands like 9 10 9 jack, ace queen, all of these combos. And when you start to do that, you're going to be building a pot out of position versus a player who basically has all good hands as well. And the board can change dynamically, bro. Like a 10, a jack, a king, all of these cards are like pretty scare cards. So you don't really want to be building a pot out of position when you're not really that sure that you have the best hand. Like if even if I had, bro, even if I had queen 10, queen jack, I'm more happy betting than king queen. Because like queen 10, queen jack has outs versus a stronger hand, but king queen has nowhere to go really. Like let's say you bet a third and your opponent raises, what do you do with king queen? I don't want to fold a hand like that. That is why.
Okay.
What do you think? Okay, at least tell me why you think that betting is good actually.
I mean, we bet our best top pairs are right. We are like, what are we doing with aces? We are not checking aces also on this board, right?
I'm sure aces will also be checked. Let's actually have a look, right? Now that you actually brought it up, let's have a look.
I mean,
It
I'm
seems like,
surprised because this board with our best, second best queen, we're supposed to check. I'm really surprised.
yeah. Let's have a look actually. It seems like an interesting spot. So this is low jack versus you under the gun.
Also, Raghav, this player, I think Madhab mentioned earlier, is a high VPIP type individual, right?
Yeah. So
So
somebody
that,
who should be flatting a lot.
yeah, so isn't that more reason to slam him for value when we got it?
So I don't think thinking in that dimension makes sense because so just because he flats a lot of bad hands doesn't mean we can bet for value because a lot of his bad hands will just fold. So versus a range that has a lot of bad hands, it also makes sense to check and then bet turns on rivers so that your opponent thinks you don't really have that strong a hand. Right? Like you also have to approach this spot from a perspective of like either bluff catching or hiding your range, if you will. Yeah, you can't just like keep going bet, 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 and then the worst hand is not going to call, right? So let's have a look
Probably the
anyway.
line that I would have taken is bet, check, check, call, probably.
Yeah. Let's have a look. It's not like even
Yeah, bet
100%.
check
Like bro,
also
I feel Raghav that in like in Chippy V, because this is ITM, right? Like because
Yeah.
it's post ITM, no?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
bet.
think in Chippy V, I think this will be like 100% like C bet only. But I think in ICM, yeah, on these kind of boards, I think
Yeah.
because we don't want to play a very big pot, we don't want to inflate the pot also, right?
Yeah. I
Because
agree.
the board is kind of wet. It hits his range a lot. He has all the sets, like he has eights, nines in his range. He has Jack 10 suited in his range.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that as well.
That
Let's
is the only, I mean, eights, nines, and jack 10 are the only hand that we are, I mean, sort of, we
Yeah.
can.
yeah, bro, but like
Sometimes he can have
maybe
ace queen that beats us. I mean, he needs.
yeah, he can. I think yes, he can also have at some frequency. He can have some traps also. He can have aces, kings also in this situation. I just think like I agree with Raghav here because I feel in ICM you don't want to inflate the pot too much, like on such a wet board. Like the board is wet,
especially out
right?
of
Like
position.
Does
Especially
yeah,
it matter
yeah.
that we are covering him? Does that come into picture?
uh
Uh, I think it surely will.
yeah. I think the fact that we're covering him surely will come into the picture, but not it won't influence the decision so much that we can just stack
Yeah,
every top pair, if you know.
yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look anyway. The board is queen, club, 8, diamond, 9, heart. Yeah, so
Yeah,
let's
Raghav,
first. Let's
Raghav,
yeah.
do one thing like UTG open and low jack call make this like button call. So his range is wide, so low jack his range is tight.
Oh, okay. You're saying button call?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We will give a button call. Yeah, this is only to make sure that the opponent's range is wider than a low jack call.
Yeah.
Diamond, 9 of hearts. Yeah.
UTG is
Okay.
raised.
Yeah, so versus this kind of a range, we're betting a lot. Good to see that we're almost always betting this king queen as well. Hands like pocket eights like to start mixing in some checks because like I guess you unblock the top pair, so you want to check raise a lot. I guess king queen does prefer to bet a lot. What is important to notice here is that hands like ace 3, ace 4 suited just immediately give up. So I would suggest kind of going with that as well. Don't kind of invest money in this kind of a pot where your opponent also has really good hands. King queen off is betting basically almost always. So yeah, I would
So
choose.
Raghav, yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
select like on the GPU is that select like if we bet and he call, what are we doing on the turn?
Yeah, we bet small. Our opponent. Let's first have a look how our opponent continues. He basically continues everything except like his trash.
Bottom.
Seems fine. What was the turn?
9 of
9.
clubs.
9 of clubs.
Now we gotta check probably, or maybe sometimes bet.
Yeah. So are you guys able to see this? Yeah, like our
50 now.
yeah. Our entire range itself kind of shrivels down and starts to check a lot. Yeah, because I guess the 9 is a big part of our in positions range, our villains range.
Can we
I think
see?
you have to consider the fact that this guy is a high VPIP type, and this is a GTO range versus a GTO flat. This guy
No,
is going
no.
much wider than GTO flat, right?
Yeah, so we have given our villain a buttons flat calling range just because we think our villain is going to be flat calling a lot. So a button flat calling range is bound to be a little wider than our
Yeah.
opponent's actual position.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have adjusted that a little bit. Sure, I agree with what you're saying in that our opponent is going to be flatting way more than a GTO button as well. But
Yeah,
I think we are coming as close to optimal as we can. So like we
fair.
can't do any more than this, right? Like there's
Yeah.
nothing there unless using Pio.
Yeah, fair.
Hey Raghav, Radhika.
Hey, what's up?
What kind of 9x hands are you giving his flatting range in that position?
Um,
You're saying he has all the
Okay,
nines, but which
nine.
nines does he have?
So as our opponent or as Madhab has described as a very, very loose player who's playing a 40% VPIP, I think he's going to be flatting ace-9 all the way down till like maybe even 7-9 suited. But if not 7-9, definitely 8-9 suited. So that counts ace-9, king-9, queen-9, jack-9, 10-9, and 8-9. And I agree that it's not a lot of 9x because it's not an offsuit combo, but it definitely comprises of a decent portion of our opponent's range, in my opinion.
So Raghav, do one thing. Let's give UTG check and see what button is going to do.
Yeah, so this is on the turn. After we have bet, our villain is called, the 9 of clubs has come on the turn, and we start to check. This is how our villain responds. He's basically going to be betting every 9. Like I mentioned, so he has ace-9 all the way down to 10-9. 8-9 suited has also been given. Even 9-7 suited has been given, which I think is fair. I think our opponent is that wide. And of course, for value, he wants to bet king queen some of the time. As a bluff, he wants to bet king jack. Ace jack seems to have just about enough showdown to kind of get with it. Ace 10 off is little bit weak, so wants to bet. Similar patterns that you'll see all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, does anybody have any doubts regarding this?
No, thank you, Raghav.
Yeah. It's good. It's good that even I thought, so this is also a chippy V situation that we just looked at. So we do have to account for ICM. So our betting will go down on the flop. But as Yash said, we're going to be doing a lot of betting, not really that much checking. Even with a hand like King Queen, just wants to bet and target over his hand. Let's move on. Pocket
Yeah, this is a bad one. Yeah.
Definitely too wide. Yeah, you get punished by the big blind. Can't really do Black off. Seems like a nice 3-bet candidate. Calls. And you jam. I love it, bro. So I'm very happy that you 3-bet the hand. I think jamming on the flop is wonderful versus a sticky opponent as well. That's the only way you get him to fold a hand like pocket nines or pocket eights because they'll always peel the flop if you bet small. And we have enough and more equity to run with it. Jamming the flop maybe even gets a hand like ace jack to fold. I don't think he can call with ace jack, so I like it even more. King 7 suited. Nice RFI. Have to be taking control of the table at this point. Not, I don't know if this is the best decision. I would have folded, but like you said, he was playing a high VPIP, right? This is the same player.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus him, I'm just going with it. I'm not folding it. Yeah. Nice hand, we take it down. Ace 5 off, nice RFI. Interesting. What do you think about flop, bro, Madhab?
So this flop like hit big blind more. Maybe I will bet my overpass and 7x and
Yeah,
check
and he's
check
on the
sizing.
7x, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
bet
think we
size
should
will
always
be
use the
bigger.
sorry.
And the bet size will be bigger.
Yeah,
Maybe
sorry, bro.
75%.
Somebody's unmuted again. Yeah, thank you, Sai. Yeah, I think even if we bet, we have to bet big only. Yeah, this is the kind of board where we don't really want to like, or let's say this is the kind of board where if we bet small, we're going to get check raised a lot. And
Yeah.
so I think betting big accomplishes way more than betting small. And we would have a range that comprises only of big bets, especially bigger pocket pairs and whatnot, and 7x. Yeah, with the ace-5, I like a check. We are always calling. This is too cheap. We could even be good. On the river, I would fold. I actually don't mind like raising, but like our opponent is also a little sticky in my opinion. So I would just fold. Wow, he shows a worse 5. Surprising. Nice call, I guess. I guess versus an opponent like this, calling is good. I didn't think he'd bet a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you should bet a 5 either. I think you should bet every 7, every 10, and every 2 pair. I think betting a hand like 5-9 becomes really thin, and I don't think it's good at all. But now that you know this, I think you should snap them off with every pair. Yeah, nice call, nice call. I would have actually folded river like a fish, but good call. It's very important to understand your player type in these kind of situations, and I think you nailed the hammer on that one. Like, I'm surprised that he bet the river. Nice hand, nice hand. Jack 10 suited. I think we can go either way here. I don't. What do you think of the opponent, bro, Madhab? Adi? Any reads?
No, he was tighter. His stats are 16-10.
Oh, that's pretty tight only.
Yeah.
Versus that, I don't mind folding. But like, our hand has decent equity anyway. So it's not like a big mistake even if you jam. Like you will win some of the time. Yeah, unfortunate. I don't mind folding also. I think both are similar EVs though. Both will be decent.
I need to send those details to the Miss Isha, the home.
Okay, easy fold. Start with a small bet. I like it. Yep. I think maybe sizing can be smaller, I think. Because so if the king had been a non-spade, I don't mind choosing your sizing. But now that the spade has come, his hands automatically shrink down in value. And I think you can make your bluffs cheaper, if that makes sense. So making it a sizing like 3.5 accomplishes the same as like 4.9, except that when you make it 3.5, now he has a little more behind and he will be a little more hesitant to call it off on the river. And when you bet 5, he has like 9 behind and he either jams it here or he just calls the river, in my opinion. So I would say still bet small because your range still has all of the good hands anyway, and you don't really need to be betting big. Yeah, you're just making your bluffs a little cheaper.
Raghav, what kind of a range are we giving to small blind here?
Usually it's just like from my experience, it'll be suited bad ace X's, bro, and like small pairs, and sometimes bad Broadway, like hands like Jack 9, Jack 10, maybe even like Jack 10
Queen
off.
10, King 10 type of hand.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of that. Nothing that's nutted by any means. I think like even hands like pocket sixes and all would have been jammed in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like his range is pretty weak over here. We just get to like run over him.
I mean, I was just thinking maybe if we can check turns and to realize full equity, I'm not
I
sure.
like checking turn with a spade, bro. What do you think? Because like if a spade comes or like even if a spade doesn't come, we can kind of bluff reverse because of blocker. But without the blocker, I would just like to bet and kind of deny equity and keep my range the same.
So
If that makes
basically
sense.
bet folding right here.
Yeah, obviously. We never bet calling off. Never bet calling off. With a Jack 10 with a spade, I don't really mind bet calling off, right? Like, so which also kind of makes it incentivizing to check because you have equity. Jack 10 off seems kind of just borderline. Okay, we take it down anyway. Ace 5 suited. I would bet small. So what do you think, bro, Madhab? Like, why did you check back this flop?
I also think I could bet, but this opponent was he has 11 big blinds. If I bet 1.5, and king s. So,
Your voice is breaking a little, bro. Can you say that again?
okay, so this opponent was very tight, and I think s5 makes sense to bet. I didn't bet maybe because I don't want to get jammed.
Yeah, I agree. Like, so these kind of tight players, they'll usually like either like check jam or just check fold. You're right. But I think ace5 is a hand that needs a lot of protection, right? So when our opponent flats from that kind of position with his stack, I'm giving him heavy Broadway and I'm giving him like ace9, ace8 suited, ace7 suited kind of a range. And versus that kind of range, I think our hand benefits a lot from just protection. So for those purposes, I would just bet 1.5 big blinds and see and yeah, evaluate.
If I bet 1.5 and he jam, maybe I could call only.
No, I'm folding actually. See, like the traits that you just mentioned, right? Like he's a tight player who has not really been active at all. When these kind of players check jam, it's either a king or they will have a hand like ace3 of clubs, bro. Both are the same hand only. Or at least they have enough and more equity to like run with their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so versus that range, I would just check. I mean, bet fold it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, now bet for sure. He calls. Interesting river. What do you think?
Go for a bet, maybe little small and get called by S10. Instead of club. Instead of club, my jam is purple.
Huh. I would actually check it back. Go for 5, but
Yeah, take that actually makes sense.
I guess check back makes up
Betting high
because like,
does not accomplish anything.
yeah. So if you were to bet, I'd say bet something like 1.5, something like 2 on the river, right? Like betting 5 is doesn't really get ace high to call, while it does not really get pocket sevens or pocket eights to fold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not really getting a worse hand to call. You're not really getting a better hand to fold either. I think betting small is good, like betting like 1.52, 2.5 as well, or check. Yeah, this sizing go is pretty weird. Okay, queen 10-0. Yeah, you just have to fold. 7-7-8-8, should ideally rip? Yes, yes, but like, I mean, nobody here on this table is playing GTO, which is why we're giving them like weird unorthodox ranges. Yeah, like Nandan said, tight passive. Yeah, he can have some middling pocket pairs, in my opinion. He might jam, he might not. Okay, then it's suited. I like making it 2.5 here. Like I like to target the big blind, but I think 2 is fine as well. Yes, we should bet small. Interesting turn. I'm not folding. I think our hand is too good. Interesting block. Can you tell me your thoughts, bro, on the river, Madhab?
I don't know. This player was like, he was such a player like, when I check, he want to jam with his diamond. That kind of player. I was feeling like that. That's why I went to a block bet and he jammed. So maybe I should have folded. He raised. Okay. This is a fold, right?
I have no idea what is happening in this hand. Um, Wait, let's just go through the hand once more from the start. So we raise. Our opponent has flatted off 16.5 big blinds.
Yeah.
The flop
He
seems
was also playing a lot of hands. His stats are like 38 and 10.
okay. Okay, so high VPIP but low raise.
Yeah.
Okay, I think flop is fine. We have to always bet. Turn is where things start to get a little dicey. I'm not folding to this though. He's bet too small. On the river.
Raghav, hi, this is Gaurav here.
Hey,
Can you hear
what's
me?
up, Gaurav? Yeah, I can hear you.
I think on the turn it's a fold, I feel, because he's betting into this big blind who just got three bigs and he knows that he could be called. So calling with an 8 itself is like criminal there, I feel.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes when I get the right price, I don't want to fold till the river because, so in my opinion, sometimes people also do this with like draws. Sometimes they do this with like diamonds and hearts and they give up rivers, which is
But
why
in
I
position,
always
he would
call.
want his draws to realize his equity, right? So he might just check it. So the fact that he's betting into a small stack who can definitely call his draws, he wants probably the draws to call with probably a ace
Yeah.
pair.
So what we're working on is basically an assumption, right? So I am working under the assumption that sometimes he does this with like his draws as well. If your assumption or your read on the player is that he never does this, it's a fold. You're right, exactly right. If you think your opponent is never betting a draw and will always want to realize his equity, then 100% this hand is a fold. From my read of this player and from what Madhab has said, who's playing a 40% VPIP and a 10% PFR, I think some of the time he will have this withdrawals, and I think some of the time he will give up as well because he seems like a weak passive type player, which is why I think calling the turn isn't that bad. I don't mind folding the turn as well.
Had it been heads up, it's a for sure call, I feel. But being a small, I mean, big blind in there with a 3 BB behind and he's still betting into him, I think I would lean towards folding. I mean, that's again, like you said, it's an assumption.
I agree. I think they're both very close, bro. This is a very unorthodox spot as well. It's not something that we
Precisely.
come across every day.
Yeah.
So in these spots, our assumptions of the villain's range tend to matter more than like what is optimally right, if that makes sense. Meaning
Yeah,
to
I
say,
mean, obviously that makes sense provided everybody is playing GTO. I mean, here people are just playing linear and their hands in such spots, right? So which is why I mean you don't have to really be balanced in these spots, and I mean giving them on a range in such a board and such a situation, I think we can narrow and just give them a linear range that probably this is what they could have.
I agree entirely. I think you can fold this hand as well. There are merits to both calling and folding depending on what our assumptions are.
Correct.
So, definitely agree. Folding is definitely plus EV and is a profitable decision. I would have folded as well. I think I ran through the hand before and I kind of got an understanding of what our opponent is, which is why I lean towards a call.
Fair.
Yeah, which is why you'll be kind of like surprised to see.
Bro, Raghav, there's also on the flop, Adi was in the bot, and Adi, as we discussed, at least like recently, he is tight and things, right? So if he is calling that flop and folding, it's very obvious to say he was the one with the draw, right?
Yeah. So, bro, but there are plenty of draws here now, bro. So now, working on your assumption, let's say he has called and now he's folding the turn. Now we can assume that he doesn't have any diamond draw.
I mean, honestly, bro, if he has a diamond draw, he should be shoving. Like the fact that he's calling is just crazy. Even out of the big blind, he's flatting is crazy to me.
Correct.
As played completely, it just looks like Sniper Stack just always has the AX here.
I agree. And like I would have thought,
so I agree. Even if he's flat over there on the turn, we have to improve to call further, right? Like we can never call. We just want to check then.
Yeah, exactly my point, which I was going to come to, is that if we call the turn, we are hoping for a brick river or we are hoping that our opponent gives up. Those are two things that we're hoping for. And we know that our opponent is not really the most either tight aggressive or a strong player. He's also like a weak player who's going to be flatting weak ranges. So versus that range, I think as an exploit, it's okay to call turn. I think it's okay to fold as well. So in MTD poker, at least, it's not like there is one right decision. There are a lot of right decisions, and sometimes all of these decisions have similar expected value. So this is a decision where I feel like isn't really making too much money, but isn't really losing too much money either. Because you're not really, it's just 3 big blinds into a pot of like essentially 19 big blinds.
Right.
So it's not that bad of a losing call. It's not that great one either. So let me get that as well.
Makes sense. If it's clear that we're not investing any more than 3, if we don't improve, then it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Raghav, I have a question for you. Sorry.
Yeah,
on the river.
Of course.
So I was just thinking, bro, on the river, instead of like blocking, let's say we checked, right? And this guy,
I would have checked only.
right? And let's say this guy, bro, now because his hand is played so awkwardly is why I've thought of this, okay? Like, let's say we check on the river, and this guy with a 9.5 big blind stack bets 4.5 big blinds. What are you doing, man?
I'm folding, bro. I'm folding, bro.
Then, bro, see, now the thing is that that's what like I'm also trying to understand, because if you're going to fold like that on the river,
Yeah.
then might as well just fold the turn, right?
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Why I'm saying call turn is because you should call river and show win versus a hand like this. So now when you slow down like this, you understand that there are also opponents who kind of spaz like this and bet. God only knows, like he has basically 0% equity on the turn, right? Like for him to
Raghav, even knowing the fact, let's say the opponent is the worst one, I mean, can we still call the raise on the river?
Yeah, bro, why not? If I know he's going to be doing this, I'm snapping him off with every ace, bro. What is the issue?
What a read,
Yes, we are
Madhab.
doing it, but how we are doing it with 8 there? Like we are blocking to fold, no? Like
that you ask Madhab, bro. I did not.
Madhab, like, what is your thought process, bro? I'm really surprised.
Bro, I was astounded by this hand. I have no idea how he made the call.
Against any player, I would just fold on the turn. But this player was like doing random things.
Bro, I think this is pure. This is like a soul read, basically, man.
Yeah,
in-game, he must have,
crazy
must have-
read.
Yeah,
this is
in
Phil
game.
Ivey, bro. This is Phil Ivey fucking
Yeah,
soul
this is
reading
like,
another
bro,
guy, bro.
but this is also a very important thing to notice, right? Like if it is a soul read, then he's actually paying so much attention to the guy on the table, right? That he can
100%,
actually
bro.
make this call. So it's actually quite commendable, man.
Ah,
Like, nice.
yeah, 100%, bro. 100%.
Nice.
Exploiting is the way to go, for sure.
Rather, one observation. This is Gaurav here again.
Yeah.
We've had 2 block bets and 1 very tiny bet with 3 hands on the river. So
Yeah.
the thought process, nobody's trying to evaluate that. What are we trying to achieve with that bet, and what hands are we getting him to fold? For example, a block bet here. If he has an ace, he shoves. These block bets don't work. Like, what are we trying to achieve here? What are the hands that we're trying to?
A block bet here, yeah, I'll tell you. And Madhab can tell me if I'm right in thinking this way, and or he can tell you his thoughts after mine. But my thinking here is that a block bet. So versus a strong player, I would not make this block bet at all. But versus a weak player on a bricked out river where there has been a double flush draw on the turn, when you block the river, they are very, very afraid to shove their hands. So even if they have diamonds or hearts, when they get to the river and the board is bricked, they are way more afraid to shove than they are to like fold. And they will take the easy way out every time. So they will always fold, even though they would have had a decent hand to bluff with. Like, let's say, even if you had a hand like King 10 of diamonds or King 9 of diamonds, his hand works beautifully as a shove versus a block. But people kind of shy away from the situations, think, oh yeah, my draw has bricked, and then move on to the next hand. So versus that kind of range, I don't really mind block at all, because they are weak players who won't really do much about these kind of bets. But whereas a strong player will almost always jam and put you in a pickle. Yeah, so these are my thoughts on the situation. I'll allow Madhab also to talk so that he can tell you what he exactly thought.
This player, I think, block bets is not a good thing. On the turn, actually, when like he was in position, so I check. So this big blind check, I check, and then he bet his stab. So I think he can stab a lot of hands. So turn calling makes sense, but on the river block bet, actually, I think block bet is wrong. Maybe we can just check and call if he bet. And maybe if he jam, we can fold. But if he bet against this specific player, if he bet small, maybe we can fall on the river.
Okay. Okay. So what you're saying is that the block bet was wrong and was not
against
the
this player.
correct move. Yeah.
Against this player.
Yeah, against this player. I think that this was like a one-off, very weird, unorthodox hand, which I don't really know how got to it. But I guess if you, I mean, like if you think that betting the river is wrong, then I don't think you should call also. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to bet fold because you should only bet call. And so, like Gaurav said, yeah, I think you should just check it and kind of either hope to get it checked back or give up. Yeah, I don't think we should block bet.
Yeah.
Raghav, any merits in betting the turn ourselves? Isn't this against the same guy against whom we had Jack 10 on Queen King board, Queen King turn? Like,
sure, I don't mind a bet as well, but like it like an ace never folds, bro. That is my only issue. And like He'll
I
have
mean, then we
draws.
gave up. Then we gave up rivers. No, let's say.
Yeah. Then we give
doesn't-
up rivers. Yeah, sure. That is a nice line to take, I think.
Bro, he has only 13 behind. There's a 13 big blind pot. You
Right.
can't
So,
bet.
sorry. So what do you want to do?
It's only a 13 big blind pot. How much do you expect to bet on the turn if you want to bet? You can't bet
Same
on
sizing, bro. Like 3.5.
2.53 seems
Yeah.
fine. Bro, Kadil, if you have a hand like ace king, what you'll bet here, bro? You'll go all in or what?
I don't think there's a check on the flop though. I don't think so.
The flop was bet on, bro.
Okay. I thought it was checked. Sorry.
Yeah, he's bet the flop and then now turn decision has come. That's why.
I don't like betting the turn after betting the flop and getting called.
He didn't bet the turn. He checked
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't like the option of betting the turn.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you should bet either, but like it's not like it makes that big of a difference, bro. Like an ace never folds. Bro, these are all,
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like we're also kind of like going into a rabbit hole of like what can happen on like different scenarios when like we should only be thinking about one line. So like, yeah, just suggest moving on to the next hand. Yeah, these are also very, very unorthodox spots that don't really come up at all. So like discussing this in depth doesn't really add value to our poker knowledge, in my opinion. Okay, this is a fold versus a 10 big blind stack who is jumped from the big blind. It doesn't really make sense to call at all. What do you think, bro, Madhab? I would have just folded this, but like I'm not really sure.
Yes, two big blind. King 10 is the bottom.
Yeah,
Queen 10
but
and
like you can't really do anything, no, bro. What else is he saying that he has? He's saying that he only has aces or kings. So, I mean, like, yeah, it's two big blinds. You're right. It doesn't really make too much of a difference, but like these two big blinds also start to add up, especially in late stages. You invest two big blinds, two big blinds, two big blinds, and then on the next level, you've lost a lot of like actual chips. So I would say kind of shy away.
Yeah. Holding makes sense. And these guys' stats are very, very tight also.
Yeah.
Very stats.
Yeah. Scary situation.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a nice jam. Ace 3 off. You always jam. We run into pocket queens, but that's all right. King 10 on, nice raise. One big blind, yeah, gets the job done. Very nicely played. Interesting. I think we should flat. Right. We are never folding. He's bet basically like a third pot, so we're never folding. Wonderful turn. How would you approach this turn, bro? Like, so the pre-flop aggressor has raised. He has bet an ace-high flop and then checked the 10 turn. So how would you think about this pot and how would you go about it?
So he still have some assets. I think I would go small one side. Maybe 3.5 or 3.
Any merits to checking, you think?
No, I don't like checking. Like he still have like king queen or king jack. I don't like to like a queen or jack river. Even here
Yeah.
ace jack.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think he has a lot of Broadway that kind of checks. So I would like to bet something like 2.4 or like 2.53, anywhere in that vicinity, just so that he calls. Yeah, I think that's the way that we make most money with this hand. 5.95 seems excessive, in my opinion. I mean, there's no need to bet this big, no? Just bet small, try to extract value from any pair, any Broadway, any gut shot, whatever he might have. Because like, so in my opinion, when people take this line, which is like, they are the pre-flop aggressor, an ace-high flop comes and they bet the flop and they check the turn, they have nothing, right? Like against most players, this is, if this line is taken, they have nothing. So versus that, I want to extract as little as value as possible. So I would just bet really small.
Hi Raghav, this is Harshit here.
Hey Harshit, what's up?
So that is the reason I was just saying, like, isn't it like this play mostly shows that they don't have an ace? If we check, we can bait them into betting us on the river.
Yeah, you're right. Which is why I consider the merit of actually checking back. And I think this can be a player read that you make. So if you think your opponent is capable of bluffing when we also check back, then I would check back. But if I think my opponent is a station who will not fold if he has king, queen, queen, jack, has like king five, king, whatever it may be, any gut shot, I would bet. So that's like per your discussion. What you think of the player, I would go according to that.
Obviously, not the move against a sticky player, but yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Versus, so let's say this is a player who is going to fold a hand like king, queen, queen, jack, but will bluff a brick river. Versus that opponent, I would check back and then play rivers. But versus an opponent who's sticky, I would always bet. Yeah.
You're not ever three bet pre-flop? Are you betting are you three betting pre-flop?
So the reason this, so ace 10 off is actually a hand that three bets a lot pre-flop, you're right.
Yeah.
But we have to consider the position from where our opponent has opened, which is the hijack, meaning to say that he already has a lot of worse ace X's in his opening range.
Correct.
And ace 10 off by three betting gets a lot of those worse ace X's to fold,
right,
while flatting keeps them in, which is why I like to flat. Let's say
which,
our opponent
which also gets the small blind and the big blind in, so which makes it a little more difficult.
So actually, no, the small blind is at a 14 big blind stack. So either he will be having to jam or fold.
Correct.
The big blind, I agree, will come along a lot of the time and it will be difficult to play, but you're on the button. So I think that reasoning also kind of adds to it in that it's not going to be that difficult of a hand to play simply because you're in position to all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that so the important thing to consider here is the pre-flop aggressor's range, where if you three bet, you're getting all their worst ace X's to fold and all their better ace X's to jam or call. Yeah, so and that is something we don't really want to do with a hand like ace 10 off. Or we don't really want to ever do that because we always want to get better hands to fold and we want to get worse hands to call. Three betting this hand does the opposite. On ace 9 off. Nice raise, have to fold to three bet. Ace 10 off, nice raise. Ace king off. I like betting the flop actually, Madhab. I went through the hand, I saw that you checked it. But I think 7x's over here are better checkbacks than ace deuce, simply because the hand like ace deuce needs so much protection. So I would just bet a third and get a hand like queen 8 off to fold, or a hand like king 9 off to fold. Yeah, like all of accomplishing all of these hands to fold or getting all of these like 20% hands to fold accomplishes a lot for bottom pair.
So in game I checked that, but when later I saw that I was analyzing the hand, then I also thought like,
Yeah.
I should bet 1.5.
Yeah, this hand just loves a lot of protection and does not love to go to turns and rivers at all. So we just bet, yeah, can't really do much. So our opponent basically bet a third on the turn and he goes half pot or just less than half pot on the river, versus which we can't do anything and just have to fold. Okay. Any reason for the change in sizing, bro?
I have opened 3.
No. Okay, so there's a little bit of so this is like a Pokerbootcampindia glitch. So the small blind is actually at 14K and the big blind should have been at 28K. And our raise is actually exactly 2x, so it's fine, but it's kind of showing different. My bad. Okay, king queen suited. What do you think, Madhab?
20 big blind from small blind I want to jam.
Yeah. That's right. On the money, we just send all of it in. King queen suited is too strong a hand. We get a lot of better ace-x to fold and just has a lot of equity when we run with it as well. So definitely an all. Pocket eights. Nice check back. I'm glad you checked back. So in these kind of spots, the hand that mainly want to check back are the pairs below the queen. So that includes everything from pocket jacks all the way to pocket eights and even sometimes a seven. So I like the check back. Turn comes in nine. I think you can go either way over here. It depends on how you construct your opponent's turn probe range. Meaning to say, if you think your opponent stabs a lot on the turn, then versus that, or let's say your opponent does not stab a lot on the turn, then I would check back. If your opponent is somebody who does stab a lot on the turn, then I would probably start betting, because if he hasn't bet the turn, chances are he has a weaker hand, and I would like to get protection. River comes a queen. This is a snap call. Yeah. He's defended Jack 6 off and ICM. Wonderful to see. Okay, pocket queens. Nice bet. I think so. This is a board texture where we want to start including some bigger bets. Because our opponent is going to be having a lot of check raising as well, and pocket queens is the best hand to make a big bet. And folds, unfortunate. Yeah, I guess we discussed this hand. So I think, yeah, even in the previous session, we kind of fast forward, but yeah, what do you think, Viro? I guess we have some more new players here anyway. So I think if I remember, I wanted to just jam this while Yash mentioned that he would like to flat call over here. I like both. What do you think, bro, Madhab?
So I also think flat call is right.
Okay. Okay.
With
I
the
like
king of hearts especially.
Okay. Actually, what you say kind of makes sense. Maybe without the king of heart, I would like to raise. But no, actually, I would play pocket kings purely as a call. I don't think I would ever jam it. I'm not really afraid of too many cards. I'm not really afraid of a heart. So I would almost always call this. You jam, our opponent folds. I think you should call as well. It makes sense. It's the right play. And like when we call, the stack to pot ratio becomes 1 on the turn. So we're not going to have any issue getting the money in. And it's not like we need to raise now to build the pot or something. So I would try to keep my range hidden and disguised and try to get the money in on the turn. Okay, twister opens. I don't mind jamming here some of the time if you think twister is opening wide, which I think he always will. But I mean, like flatting is not bad, of course. Ace 4 off. Yeah, I think limping is fine. I would. Yeah, this hand sucks to limp fold. I actually like a 3-bet here, bro. I think this is actually a 6 spot to find a 3-bet, which people don't really do. Because so in my opinion, you're going to have a lot of strong hands here that want to limp jam as well as limp raise. And to balance those hands, ace 4 off seems like the perfect bluff. So this hand works as a nice 3-bet, because so in my opinion, this Jack 10 suited guy has been like almost chip lead, I guess, or second in chips, and is going to be attacking you a lot because you're a lesser in stack and a middle stack. And versus that, a polar range, we can choose to 3-bet polar as well, choosing a hand like ace 4 off, ace 5 off, and make it somewhere like 8 big blinds, 8.5 big blinds should get the job done. We fold, unfortunate, but I think it's definitely worth a thought at least. Pocket kings. I like both ways. What do you think? Do you think flatting is ever an option here? Yeah, I think it seems like
2.2 and we have like 28 bit line. Yeah, flatting is also.
flatting looks kind of nice. Just because the big blind is short, so the small blind is also an aggressive person who might go retarded. So like all of these things kind of make me want to flat pocket kings. We 3-bet, we get the fold, unfortunate. Okay, pocket jacks. Just jam. Yeah. Ace 3 suited. Is this final 2 tables, bro, Madhab? Can you?
Yeah. 1 second. No. In final 2 tables, there should be Goenji should be there.
Okay, Goenji is chip leading, is it?
No, not chip leading, but he was there on the final 2.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, got it. So I think this open is fine then. It's not like we have so much ICM on us. This is nasty. Yeah, I would just fold. I would just fold over here. Yeah, unfortunate. Ace king off. Jams, we call. My hand. Pocket threes, I actually am not sure, bro. I don't think you should be opening this. So we're not really playing chip EV anymore, right? And you said Sing Sab was on your table, meaning this is final 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to be super blocker heavy. And I think. Yeah, sorry.
Force plus makes sense.
Yeah, I think in chip EV, this pocket threes is a super standard open on the button. But ICM considerations kind of change how we construct our range. And we don't want to open hands that get jammed on a lot or have those qualities. So threes does not really block anything at all. You will get jammed on a ton by 2 aggressive regs, both Sink Sub and Nut Peddling, both are aggressive regs to your left. And so for those reasons, I would just fold this hand. Yeah, I don't mind limping and stuff, but like I would say, don't complicate things anymore. So I would just fold it.
Is this a final table?
This is final 2 tables.
Okay. So I don't think Singh Saab can jam light because he has a bigger stack on his left. So that works for us to open, as in he wouldn't do that unless that's pressure for him also. He considering there are lesser stacks like 7 bigs and all of that, he can't go lighter on his jams, I feel.
He won't go lighter, but he will go optimal. Optimal to stay is he will jam hands like ace deuce to ace 5 suited. Hands like king 10 suited, king jack suited. Hands like pocket sixes plus. And all of these hands will almost always be all in. So his flat calling range here is actually super narrow. His range will either be split into folds or all in. Sal, can you help out, bro? Sahil Verma. Unmuted. Yeah, sorry, Gaurav. Yeah, I think he's going to be jamming a lot of hands over here, bro. Like a lot of suited ace-x like to jam in these situations than call. So for that kind of a range, I think we should be opening pretty polar and trying to make sure that we block his jamming range. So a hand like ace 3 off over here is a better open than pocket threes. Simply because of the chance. Bro, especially when you play against good, strong regulars, like people to your left. So Nut Peddling 729 is a good regular. Singh Saab is, of course, our coach Goendi. And both those people are going to be playing pretty strong and tight in these situations. So they're not going to loosen up their jamming range, but they're going to hit all of their optimal frequencies. And that is already a lot. Yeah, so if you actually take a look at how much jamming kind of goes on in the small blind spot, maybe we can run an HRC sim and give you guys a look into that, and you'll understand how much small blind jams.
So in that case, what are the pocket pairs that you're opening?
I would open like 5s plus. Pocket threes is where it gets too low, bro.
Raghav, any merits in open jamming doses till 4s, 25, 30?
No, bro, this is ICM, no, not chippy, we can't really do that anymore. We can maybe do it with like ace 5 suited and stuff, but never and not more with small pairs.
Okay.
It'll just seem like a punt. Yeah, like ranges change drastically under ICM, bro. Like we'll have a look, obviously, but I mean I can't explain it to you right away because I'm on my laptop. But like if I can send you guys a HRC screenshot, I will, and it'll be really insightful to see how, especially these three positions, the button, small blind, and the big blind, change their range from chippy V to ICM.
So ever limping aces here?
Ever limping aces? If I do
Like,
have a limping strategy, yes, but I don't have a
yes,
limp.
I mean if you limp threes also and assume that these guys want to put max pressure on you, then aces itself is a limp here.
Sure. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but bro, this game is already insanely complex. So doing that for me kind of like explodes my brain, if you will. So I try to keep it as simple as
Those
possible.
could be funky plays that could go also in your favor sometimes.
Yeah. You're right. It can go in your favor. So if you do have a limping range, I'd suggest, I mean, you can go for it, but I would suggest against it.
Fair.
Okay, turn. Ideally, our opponent should have led. This card massively favors only our opponent. So I would just kind of start giving up over here. Yeah, when he bets, I'm just folding. He's smart enough to bet a jack. I think he's smart enough to even bet an 8, like a strong 8. So I would just fold. King jack off. Standard.
Raghav, no merits in calling down river. A lot of bluffs are also there, no, on that particular flop.
A lot of his strong equity bluffs would have check raised, bro. That's why I decided against a river call, because any flush draw over here is check raising, any combo draw over here is check raising. And so I don't know if you know the player. This is Vivek Singh, who is like Kaso Lights on Spartan. So he's going to be even check raising hands like Queen 9 of Hearts, hands like Ace 9 of Hearts, King 9 of Hearts, all of those backdoors with like backdoor equity. Yeah, so versus that range, he never has any like bricks on the river, in my opinion. He'll always have a jack or an 8, or maybe some of the time he'll have a hand like Queen 10 off. But like I really don't find too many other bluffs. Ace 7 off. I actually don't even mind folding this, bro. If there was room to 3-bet, I would have 3-bet. But I think under ICM, you want to start folding these kind of hands because our opponent's range comprises mainly of the strongest amount of ace-x. He doesn't even open hands like ace deuce to ace 4 suited, ace 6 suited. None of these hands are opened in his position. So defending ace 7 becomes drastically bad. If he was sitting at like 20 to 25 big blinds, I wouldn't have minded 3-bet, but there's no room to do that as well. So I would just fold. Yeah, we can't even call flop, which is why so in chippy V, our hand will always continue flop. But under ICM, we just are not allowed to do that at all because there are much smaller stacks and we want to ladder up. So when our hand can't even like float, the value of defending the big blind kind of comes down. So I would just fold pre. Jack 10 suited. Yeah, seems fine. I think we have to open this. No way we can fold it. Ace jack suited. Basically raise. Ace 10 suited. I think this is a jam. Yes, jam. Ace jack suited. Interesting hand. What do you think, bro, Madhab? How would you approach this? Even I'm actually like flats, to be honest. I would call off nut peddling and sing sub. Nice. We end up flatting anyway. Yeah, can't really do much. Have to fold, unfortunate. Yeah, I like the flat too. I think it's fine. Well played. I guess we discussed this hand.
Yeah.
So we have raised. Our coach Singh Sab has jammed 10.5 big blinds. I don't think he's ever doing it, even with like ace 9 suited. Maybe only ace 10 suited. And I think we should just raise fold this. Shows up ace king, unfortunate. Kings, 4.5 big blinds, trying to double. This hand seems close. I think if there was a pay jump, so because nut peddling is at 2.5 and we are at 4, if there was a pay jump next position, I would have waited. But if
Yeah,
there was no pay
there
jump,
was
I would have.
a pay jump.
There was no pay jump, is it?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, there was. Wow. Okay, then I think we should have definitely folded this.
Yeah,
Without the pay jump, I think it's fine. Ace deuce off at 4 big blinds from like cutoff low jack, hijack. I mean, yeah, cutoff hijack, low jack. We can't really do anything. So, but if with a pay jump, I think we should, because I think what's to consider is that we're also jamming into learn and win. First of all, he's like a player who loves to call. I mean, he's good, obviously, so good, but he's also somebody who will call if given the right price. So, like, he won't even fold a hand like King 8 off over here, and we're always going to have to run the equity. So, yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, that's the end of our tournament. GG's, sick run though, Madhab. I'm super glad. Like I mentioned last time, I've seen you like.
Look, people are in this session right now.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Madhab.
So ये समझ नहीं आता है लोगों को, तो
I think that's
इसीलिए
Kripan.
बता रहा हूँ.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Madhab. I think you've like widened up your pre-flop ranges. That is one key takeaway from this session. I've seen you open a lot of hands, which I think were, even though it was loose, I'm glad that you've like opened up from being a tight player to being a loose player. And being aggressive is where all the money is at. So super happy to see that. I'm super happy that you found a lot of 3 bets like a king jack off and stuff, and you found a lot of correct flats as well, like ace 10 off from the button. And yeah, super improvement, and I'm glad to see it. Sick run, GG's. And I guess we'll go on to the discussion with Govind if he's here.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? Thank you, Raghav, for that.
Yo, what's up?
What's up? Thank you. Good stuff. I didn't realize that we have only 100% capacity, and we've actually hit the number, and we have some people waiting.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's pretty crazy. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to switch on my video. I'm trying to log in from another account and switch on my video. So just give me guys a second. But thank you for that session. For everybody who doesn't know, Raghav actually handles the advanced batch, intermediate and advanced batch, and we do a bunch of these hand histories through the week. So if you guys want to join in and you guys like this session, you know who to reach out. Just reach out to the Poker Bootcamp India, and we do tons of these sessions throughout the week. You know, it's crazy that we have 100 people already logged in. Great session though. I think superb. Raghav's been with us for the last 2 years now, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And good to see your hand history as well, Madhab, because I remember doing your hand history sometime back, and huge improvements in your hand history. Just shows that when you stick with the process and you keep putting in the work, it actually helps. Okay, give me a second. I'm just trying to switch in to my other. Hold on, guys. Raghav, you can switch off the screen.
Yeah, bro. 1 second.
Can you guys see me? Perfect. Visible. Awesome. Okay, cool. 100 people. I didn't even realize that we had a capacity threshold. But anyway, firstly, thank you guys for logging in. Secondly, let's get straight to the point. Handsome man says Kunal Patni. Yeah, I saw your shoots. Cool, guys. So I know GST has been a problem for everybody, and everyone's been asking me questions, which is why we ran this workshop. So I thought I'll give you guys a little insight on how we run our hand histories and how we conduct sessions at the camp, as well as discuss some GST stuff. Okay, so you guys feel free to ask me questions about GST, what you guys think. There are some rulings that have come out, which basically says on every deposit, there's going to be a GST amount that is basically, you're going to be facing a GST amount. So obviously as a poker player, that's not good, because now if you deposit, the way GST is calculated is if you deposit, like, let's say 78, we pay 28% on 78, and we get, I mean, if you deposit 100, we basically pay 28% on 78 to get that 100 amount. It's not 100 plus 28%. Okay, so it basically deducts it from the 100 itself and back calculates it and then gives you the total amount that has to come into your account. Okay, now the good news is that I've had a personal phone call with Bazi, and they have decided to bear everyone's GST amount from tomorrow. So that's great news for us. Okay, which means that if you deposit 100, it's going to be 100 in your account. Okay, they're going to be taking the hit initially. So I'm here to deliver that great news, which is that I know for a fact that Pokerbazi is going to be bearing the GST for all the players initially, starting out from tomorrow, which is October 1st. So if you deposit 100 in your account, you are going to get 100 in your account. Okay. However, Bazi is still going to be paying and bearing that GST amount from their pockets, and they're going to be basically filing that with the government, right? So if you deposit 100, you will get 100, out of which I think 22 goes to the government, right? And 78 is the actual amount. So that 22 is actually being borne by Bazi. Okay, I got the confirmation at 3 o'clock today, just before the session. And I said, and they said I can safely announce this and tell everybody else. Till then, I was just like, okay, what's happening? How's it going? So on and so forth. The other thing is, what we really need to understand is that this is the decision they've taken currently. Obviously, with time, they will also figure out different thresholds. They will figure out different ways, what's working, what's not working, because as soon as this GST ruling has come out, there's obviously an impact in this industry, right? If Bazi decided not to take the hit, it would have been, I think, GG for the industry. You know, basically, it would have been game over, curtains, because there's no way as a poker player, you and I are going to bear that 28% and then 30% as tax, right? On your profits. So that would have just been unsustainable. That would have just been impractical. So yeah, so for now, Bazi is taking the hit. Obviously, in the next few months, we'll realize if this is the model they want to stick to, or if there's another model they want to stick to. But they are definitely the front runners in trying to make sure that the industry survives. What the other guys do, I don't know. I can only speak for Bazi at the moment. But it will be credited, I think, as RCB in your account. I will find out the details about that. But it will be credited as RCB in your account. I'm going to look at the chats. Hold on. I see a lot of chat, so I've not really seen the chat. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions on this so far?
Goindi, I have a question.
Go for it.
What I understand currently is that CGST. So there are two components of GST: CGST and SGST.
Yeah.
CGST is notified and SGST is not notified.
Okay.
And a couple of tax practitioner friends, what they tell me, and I'm no one to say right or wrong, is that technically you are liable to pay the 14%, which is the CGST, and the 14% of SGST is non-payable. That's what I am given to understand.
Okay.
So essentially, obviously, this 14 will come at some point of time.
Okay.
Because the government is unlikely to relent on this at this point. Doesn't look like willing to relent. Is essentially what I wanted to highlight. So you are saying Bazi, of course, is taken, whether it is 14 or 80, 28.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they have said that we are taking the brunt at this point of time, whatever that number is.
Correct.
But how is it going to be? You want to play on different platforms. You want to be there. So my essential concern is that this is effectively curtains for let's say a lot of other players, right?
Yeah, for sure. So usually what happens whenever a new ruling comes in, from whatever I've seen in my experience, is there's always regulations. Whenever regulations come in, smaller players die and consolidation happens. That's typically what happens in any industry, be it cryptos, be it any new industry that comes in. If you look at the historical pattern of any new industry that comes in, it's always the first guys who find out about this industry. They start making most of the money. Then slowly more and more people come in because they understand about the industry as well. And then slowly the government takes notice because it's become such a big monster. And then the government says, hey, you know what? Let's put these regulations in. Once they put the regulations in, the smaller players get eradicated. And this is quite normal, I think, in every industry. And then the bigger players obviously survive. The consolidation happens. So yes, if you ask me, the way I look at it, yeah, I do think the smaller players will die. The ones who have deeper pockets will definitely survive, because see, there are a few situations that can happen, right? The government has basically said that this GST is basically going to be there for about 6 months. Correct? That's what the government has said. They said they will reevaluate this after 6 months. Okay, so now we can only hope that in 6 months' time something gets revoked. Something changes. So for the next 6 months, obviously Bazi is going to basically take the hit or do whatever it can to make sure that they bear the brunt of it, or most of it at least. For now, they've told me safely that they will be bearing the brunt of it, right? Now they're bearing the brunt of it for how long? I don't know. It could be 4 months, it could be 5 months, it could be 2 months, until they find a better solution, because it has to be win-win solution, win-win for both parties, right? Currently, I know they're bearing it because they obviously want the industry to survive. You can also see what they're doing. They're trying to get everyone to just focus on the GOAT, make sure that there's enough liquidity in the system, right? And in 6 months' time, hopefully everything gets revoked, or the rule changes or something changes, and then they also have some relief, and they're not under a lot of pressure. Is how I see it. Because if they don't take the hit, the industry dies. So I don't see any other solution at the moment. Do you see any solution?
There is no solution actually. The government intent is very clear. They have taken a moral high ground that this is gambling and whatnot. And what I hear, that couple of big names, especially couple of chief ministers, especially Yogi and Adityanath, is dead against gambling and all that. And therefore this was implemented. So we can hope that in 6 months this gets reversed. If you ask my personal view, it ain't happening.
Right.
They don't care.
Right. Yeah, but see, there's two ways to look at it. Okay. What you're saying is definitely one angle. The other angle is the elections are coming up in 6 months and they need as much money possible to campaign. I've heard that narrative as well. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Let's see.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. This is all speculative, so we will see. The only hope is that they see some reason and logic of not killing the golden egg, or the goose which kills the golden egg, or whatever you call it. That's the only thing, because this industry is going to be large and it's going to give a lot of revenue, not in now, but as the country's GDP expands and as the country becomes more and more rich. These kind of businesses give huge amount of revenue to the governments. So
right. Yeah, agreed. So, but see, either way, I think from a player's point of view, it shouldn't change anything, right? As long as Bazi takes the hit, it shouldn't change anything for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As long as the website is saying that.
Yeah, as long as the website is figuring it out. It's a problem. Yeah, the way I look at it is, it's a problem for the website to figure it out.
No, the problem is if they don't make money. If they're able to make money despite this, it is fine. The concern is with this GST, whether they'll be able to make money. So in 6 months, 6 month, 1 year period, you are absolutely right. Any reasonable deep-pocketed website may take a call that if it's a 1 month, one year issue, let me take the hit and
So the way I look at it is, they're gonna experiment for the next 6 months to 1 year in terms of what is working. Right now they've said, okay, we're taking the hit. Okay, you never know. In 3 months down the line, they'll say, okay, we take only 50% of the hit. Right? In 6 months, they might say, okay, we'll take 20% of the hit or 75% of the hit. So there will be a lot of changes that are going to happen over the next 6 months. Okay, right now they've come out saying that they're going to take the hit. Okay, so let them take the hit. We will see how it affects their PNL as well. Because the one thing I need to tell you guys is that this is a problem for the websites to figure out. It's not a problem for us to figure out, because if the websites don't figure this out, the industry will die. And I'm sure no website wants the industry to die. So they will try to figure it out. In the long run, what might happen is, yes, someone mentioned it. Yeah, the rate might increase. Who knows? It might increase because they also have to run a business at the end of the day, right? If they just keep bearing all the costs for us, then there's no point of running the business. If they start making losses, there's no point. The way I look at it is, if let's say they make 6 crores a month, for example, as profits, by doing this GST thing, they might eventually make it 3 crores a month or 2 crores a month, but it's still profitable. It's better than shutting the shop, is how I look at it. And then after 5 or 6 months, if there's relief, or if the government changes the law or changes the rule, or if they find a better solution, I think they will go ahead and implement that as well. That's how I look at it, though.
Yeah, Abhishek, Naveen here. See, as you said, the site may increase the rake, right?
Yeah.
But it will be something like a double taxation, it will be, right? Because the taxation is actually GST is actually 28% on the deposit, as I understand. right? And if they start, let's say, currently it's 18% GST on the rake, what they are paying. That's what we understand. It may be a different understanding, probably, but that will be changed to, let's say, service. I mean, instead of GST, that rake, the 28% itself will going to be a rake. Then it's going to be technically players are not getting any benefit, right?
No,
currently we are paying 10% rake technically for any tournaments, for example.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And if they increase it that to, let's say, 28% or 25%, something like that, players are not going to get any benefit there. I mean, it's of difference of whatever earlier already 10%.
I don't think they increase it that much because see, they have to make sure that the math still lies, right? Like if 100 rupees is going to get split with 28 going to the government, they have to still make sure that some goes back to the player. So they'll work out that math, which is why I'm saying over the course of the next 3 to 6 months, they'll find that threshold or they'll find out that equilibrium point as to what is the right math where enough players are winning, the website wins and the government is happy.
So you're saying it will not be, the rake will not be increased immediately, but it may take some time. Maybe.
It might happen immediately. It might happen over the course of the next few days, maybe 1 month from now. They're going to experiment. So right now, to save the industry and to make sure that there's no panic and to make sure that we all survive and still continue to play, they basically said we're going to bear the hit. Right? Now, maybe 2 months down the line, we might realize that, hey man, these guys with the current rake are losing 20 crores every month. Then they'll obviously change something around. But by their current calculations, they have said, okay, we'll take the hit for now to make sure that everyone is still in. Nobody panics and nobody basically and basically we keep the industry going because 6 months is the duration that they're looking at. Right. After that, the government has said that they'll basically reevaluate the entire ruling. Right. So for 6 months in any business, I think, I mean, if this is the situation, it's like poker, man. They just have to adjust. There's ICM pressure on them. You know, they just have to adjust. Yeah, that's how I look at it. You know, there's ICM pressure. So they just, if you want to play the final table, they have to like take the hit.
Goindi, shift this side. I wanted to ask something. So a couple of questions. Number one being like, we should definitely deposit money in all our accounts today, right? Like just to be safe, right? And regarding DPT, so do we need to like purchase tickets in advance or should we just keep money in our Adda account and that'll be enough?
No, I think if you just keep money in your, logically, if you just keep money in your wallet from today onwards, there's no GST on your deposits because the way GST applies is that it's going to be applied on your deposits post the 1st of October. So if I deposit a lakh today, I don't get charged. But tomorrow, if I deposit, then there's obviously going to be a difference in the amount I deposit versus the amount I get. Logically. So if you have any money in your wallet, I would recommend, I know for a fact, I can only speak from the point of view of Bazi because that's the insight I have. But since it's a neutral platform, I mean, I'm just doing it for the benefit of everybody. If there is, I think there's Kunal here. If Kunal really wants to talk about what the other guys are doing, you can probably go ahead and do it. But what I would recommend is whichever sites you guys are playing on, just keep some balance for at least a month or two. But having said that, the word of caution is, dude, there will be some sites that will be shutting shop. I don't know which sites those are, but I know for a fact there will be some sites that will be shutting shop. So the risk, I wouldn't take the risk of putting it on a smaller site or a very small site because if there's no action on the smaller site, I don't know if I'm going to get cashed out or not, right? If I put the money in, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what their account sheets look like. I will only trust the top 2 or top 3 big websites right now, if you ask me.
Pokerbazi, Spartan, and Adda?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to comment on anything right now. But I can only say I would definitely trust like Bazi because I wouldn't want to take any names in terms of who I don't trust or trust. Just better for me and better for everyone right now. But maybe if you DM me or call me, I can tell you. But yeah, I'd just say like just be smart about where you put the money in because just know that there is a possibility of websites going down in the next 6 months. Just keep that in mind. Now, which websites go down, who can bear it, who has deep pockets? I think everyone as a poker player is smart enough to know who has deep pockets and who doesn't.
We can figure that out a bit. Yeah,
you guys are smart enough to figure out who has deep pockets and who doesn't have deep pockets. So my suggestion is, if you think the website has deep pockets and is not going down in the next 6 months, go ahead and put your money in. It might be safe. If you think the website doesn't have deep pockets and there is a risk of this website shutting down, I would not leave any money on that website. You know, so I'm just keeping money on, accordingly. So, and also if you want to, like, I don't know if the other websites have actually announced it, But if you guys are playing on some other websites, I would recommend just load up for like the month so that you can see what's up, and that way you're not risking too much money as well.
I think
And
Amos just came with an announcement, right? Like saying that straight up from tomorrow there'll be 28% GST. Pocket 52 sent a message right now that they'll be shutting down for like maintenance in the night, and I think that's what it means, that they're gonna change their, I don't know, deposit system so that they're gonna add the GST thing to it.
yeah, so
So
basically what will happen is, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that's it. That's all I was saying. I think two
So
websites have actually announced.
basically what will happen is now it'll have to be a tech change, right? Or a product change. You know, so they'll
Right.
basically be changing their cashier. So when you deposit the money, automatically it gets deducted because it can't be a manual process, right?
Right.
So they'll basically be updating their cashier, bro, their technology or their product. You know, till now there was no clarity on what is going on. Everybody was like, there were rumors that the GST is getting delayed, and some were saying it's not going to happen, some were saying it's going to happen. But now we know it's going to happen for sure. It's happening for sure. If any website is not charging you GST or is not compensating you GST, I mean, is not charging you GST, they're definitely not sticking with the law. I can tell you they're not sticking with the law. Because as of tomorrow, all the websites have to charge you GST, right? So even Bazi, although it's going to refund you that money in whatever format, whether it's RCB or real money or whatever format it is, they're still going to be charging that GST amount and filing it on your behalf.
Right.
Right?
And one
So
last thing about live games, like about the casinos. Do you have any clarity on how the casinos are going to deal with this? What about live cash and other games at the casino? Like, will people
no
be
idea
paying?
about the casinos. I don't visit them, but I happened to meet one of them at Cream Chop the other day. They also didn't have any clarity, but they said that if you buy in cash, it might not affect you as much as if you buy in with card. Is what I heard. I don't know.
Okay,
Like I don't play in the casinos.
you still might have
Yeah,
workaround.
yeah. Technically, they're supposed to charge you as well. So I don't know if they're going to charge you or not charge you. But some of these guys were saying that maybe your cash binds will not charge. Maybe if you deposit some money in the account before the 1st of October, then you can withdraw money from there and play, and you won't get charged. You know, similar concept of just keeping money in the account, right?
Hey, Govinda, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Kunal, yeah. So I just wanted to speak to you specifically regarding the DPT because I did speak to a couple of the Adda reps about this because I was obviously very keen on playing DPT. So what they clarified to me is that as long as there's balance in your Adda account before the 1st of October, you can use that balance to buy into DPT or even on the 11th. But if you do not have balance today and you decide to go on 11th to Deltin Royal and you want to buy in for the DPT using cash or depositing at that point of time, that will attract 28% GST because that's the way it is going to work. And obviously, nothing has been said about whether there's been compensation. Because I just spoke about it, I just thought I'd clarify this bit.
Yeah. So there you go. You've heard it from KP. My suggestion is, dude, if you guys are playing offline events, and if you know you're playing, just keep some money in the wallet, right? Because I know for a fact you can buy in from your wallet. And what happens, the decision they're going to take post tomorrow, no one knows. So if you know you're going to play, just keep it. You don't have to buy in. And if you decide not to play, you still have the money in your wallet. You can buy in on the last day. So I think you guys can just definitely keep float. My suggestion is just keep float on the websites you think you guys are trusting and the website you think you can play. Be smart about the websites you think you're going to play because it's pretty obvious which ones have deep pockets and which ones don't have deep pockets, right? And yeah, so that is how it's looking. But be rest assured that the next few months you can see a lot of changes coming in terms of what the websites are going to be doing in terms of compensating for GST or basically in terms of changing the law, changing the rule, or making some amendments, or basically increasing the rake or any of that sort. You know, you can see it coming basically in the next 6 months, and then hopefully the government basically changes the ruling after 6 months. So it's about the testing times is going to be the next 6 months, and if you survive the next 6 months and the rule changes, it's going to be kudos. If it doesn't change and if the PNL is still working out, then I think this will be the new norm. You know, this will be the new norm. So kind of think of it like how COVID happened, man. When COVID happened like 4 years ago, everybody thought everyone was going to die, right? Yes, some people died, but everyone thought, oh, the world is ending, everything is going to go down. But we figured it out. We came up with different solutions and different protocols. Initially, they said, oh, social distancing. Then they said only 3 people at a time. Then they said, okay, only small groups. Then they said, oh, with mask. Then they said, okay, without mask. And they said with RT-PCR or with antigen, or with vaccine, or without vaccine. So they kept changing the protocols, right? They kept changing the protocols. So my takeaway from that and my suggestion to you is that this is going to happen in this industry as well. They're going to change the protocols very often. Okay. So today they're saying, okay, they'll bear the GST, but the protocol might change tomorrow, or it might change 2 months from now. So just be prepared for changing protocols over the next 6 months is all I'm saying, because it's going to take the websites to figure out what is working and the new equilibrium. Because currently they know they know the equilibrium. They can charge you, let's say, 10% rate on your tournaments, 30% on your profits, and they're like, okay, and these are the offers they can give you. So they have the math figured out because they've been running these sites for like quite some time, right? So now they just have to rework the math. If they're going to take that 28% deposit hit, they just have to rework the math and understand, okay, if they're going to be paying X amount as cost to the government on behalf of our players, where will they make their profits again? So they'll change a bunch of things. The next 6 months. And I think you finish your real money is when you can start using RCB. I think. I'm not sure. I've been using my real money as well, so I don't really know. But because I do have some RCB and it never gets exhausted. So yeah. Any other questions? But the other websites, I really don't have much to say. Like I said, Divik, I don't have much to say on the other websites. I don't have any insights, but I have a feeling.
Hey, Goendy, Kapil
Yeah.
here.
Hi,
Sorry
Goendy.
if it's a new platform. Am I allowed to kind of speak on behalf of a couple of other
Yeah, go
websites?
for it. I mean, it's for the industry, bro. Honestly, like, just go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So in that case, Stars will be also bearing the GST. And there are no changes as such for a player. So PokerStars will basically be bearing the GST in terms of when you deposit 100, you get 100. There is obviously no RCB kind of a concept. I can obviously comment for that. And I can also comment for Jungly, which is Jungly Poker. That's what I work for. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that's great news. So that's good.
Goendy, just one more question.
Yeah.
Can I just ask Kapil, when you say you're bearing everything, means somebody deposits 100, he gets deposit because you don't have an RCB option?
That's correct. So a player will basically deposit 100, he'll get 100. We'll deposit the GST, the 20 rupee to the government.
And there's no bifurcation that you have. It's all 100 in real cash.
Well, as of now, yes, there will be few changes, but as of now, yes, we are bearing the overall amount.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, Goendy.
What's up?
Hi, what's up? Just one more question on the Bazi upfront.
Yeah.
As you said that the Bazi would be considering and bearing the GST as of now, I just wanted to be sure that whatever they'll be bearing and giving us as the RCB, would that be used in the tournaments as well, or would that only be used over the cash?
From the knowledge I have, it's going to be used like how RCB works on their websites. So I think you can buy into tournaments and cash games together. But I think there's a threshold and there's a system where I think first real money goes and then RCB goes. Right. So if you
All right. So we can use, of course, that money in the tournaments as well and not
50 and
just on
40
cash
and-
tables.
Yeah. Currently, that's how it works, right?
Yes, Bazi allows you to use RCB
Currently,
on
that's how it
tournaments.
works, if I'm not mistaken. On both, right? RCB on tournaments and cash games, right?
Yeah, works on both. Works on both.
Yeah, it works on
Early-
both. So I don't think
Then
that
it's
changes.
fine.
Like
Yeah, I
3
don't
years
think
ago,
that changes.
company only worked on cash games, but like some time ago they made it like
Yeah,
working with
yeah,
cash
yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, that definitely doesn't change.
There's
Sorry?
Hi, Venkat here.
Yeah, Venkat.
Thanks.
Yeah, my point is that I mean this RCB
Yeah.
is we cannot withdraw this RCB unless we have put in so much volume and gained some points, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So in a way, I mean, we are kind of, although we are getting it back, but we are kind of stuck. That money is kind of stuck. We cannot take it back because if we are only tourney players, we are not able to ever get to their points criteria. So we have to kind of forcefully play cash to, get those number of points. Am I right in assuming that?
No, I would not think so. I would not think so. Because you're not really stuck, because let's say you go on a downswing, then you can use the RCB. If you're never using the RCB, you're a winning player. You don't need to deposit anything further. So that's great. Think about it, right? So let's say I put in 100 rupees today. I get 78 rupees in my bank. I mean, in my wallet, and 22 rupees as my RCB. Okay. I use my 78 rupees. I win 2 lakhs. I withdraw the 2 lakhs. I pay 30% tax. I still have 78 plus 22 in my account. I still use that 78 rupees to keep playing. If I'm never going to be losing that 78 rupees, it means I'm a winning player and I don't have to deposit money again. And it's just 28 rupees that is stuck in my RCB. But if I lose that 78 rupees, then it automatically goes into the 22 rupees that is in my RCB, and then I can buy in with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think he's getting confused with RCB being some kind of locked bonus. RCB is not locked bonus, bro. RCB is like just a 1x wager amount that you can use to wage, like, play games, make money or whatever. Like, it's gonna be you just can't withdraw it. That's all.
Yeah, you can't withdraw it. It's locked from a perspective of you can't withdraw it, but it's completely usable to play on all sites. I mean, on all stakes.
Yeah, it's not rake based. You don't have to generate any rake and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I can, like, let's say okay, so I'll put it this way. Let's say I have 78 rupees in my real money and 22 rupees in my cash. I lose my 78 rupees and I have 22 rupees left. I buy into a tournament for 22 rupees and I win. That entire amount is now withdrawable. That entire amount is withdrawable.
So one question here though, just to clarify, for example, if a tournament is $100 and I deposit for 122 will be the real cash bonus. Now, if I want to buy in for that $100 tournament, my entire amount is going to go, right? It's not going to only allow me to use 78 first. Is that right?
From what I understand, that's how it works.
Okay, so it's not going to be a distinction that it has to be completely over. It can't be used at the same time.
So it doesn't affect. See, it does from a user perspective. It's not going to change much, to be honest. It's just going to create a couple of thresholds because it's going to give you bonus chips, which is not withdrawable, and it'll basically create a threshold where your real money goes in first, and then your bonus chip gets used. Now, but if your total buy-in amount requires A plus B, then we'll use A plus B in both.
Got it. Right? Yeah, just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I just have this Bazi bonus. I can see it says it just says very straight up. It says this represents the amount available that can be used to play any game, but cannot be withdrawn. However, you may withdraw any winnings that you generate from this. It's pretty clear what they're saying here, basically on the bonus cash.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think, bro, honestly, like everybody here, I think honestly, it's possibly the best solution they've come up with. I don't see any other solution, to be honest. Do you guys think of any other solution? Does anyone?
Not really. I mean, someone has to take the hit. So
someone has to take the hit, right? I honestly
Yeah.
don't see a better solution than this.
I think what Stars just announced, I mean, that's a better solution, isn't it? No RCB, no.
I don't think they have the option of RCB, right? Like, I don't think they keep a. I mean, it definitely is a better solution for sure, but I think when you look at volumes, it might not be viable for Bazi to go ahead with that. They don't have an RCB concept only, if I'm not mistaken. Stars.
Hi, Gondi. This is Shobit, and first of all, thank you for this platform. It's really good discussion that we are having, and I think it's going to be the new norm that all the promos are going to be around like what we're talking about. So for the next 6 months at least, we're going to have promos revolving around all this, like who's bearing the brunt. But the RCB thing, as far as I have used it, it was good for cash games, but not that great for NPTs. Because if you double up, the whole money is yours. But if you buy into the tournament, the buy-in is gone, right? So I think P52 has something like that, but that is a wager-based thing. So if you wager the amount, you can cash it. But I don't think RCB is, at least for Bazi, it's not like that.
Okay.
So wanted
Okay.
to know.
I'll check with them. I'll check with them how the RCB what the formula for RCB releases. I'll
Yeah,
check with them
because
on that.
very quickly, I think this solution which we think is the best right now, it's just the first solution that has come out, and
Yeah.
the other ones are going to follow suit because otherwise they die, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think this will be the best solution for the sites till now.
Yeah.
I mean, once they're all out with their own victory.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. So that's why I said initially that over the next 6 months, they'll figure it out. You know, there'll be new and new solutions that will come up. This is the current solution to save the industry. That's how I look at it, right? It might not be the best in terms of RCB coming in. Obviously, the best solution for a poker player is that no RCB, we get our entire money, blah, 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 blah. You know, that'll obviously be the best solution. But I think this is as close to the best solution they can come up with currently to save the industry, right? Imagine like 4 months back, everyone was like, what is going to happen to the industry? We'll have to move out of the country. We'll have to live in Vietnam. We can't play online. Our careers are gone. I got the number of panic calls I got. I can tell you, which is why I'm hosting this. Right? They're like, what can we do? What should we do? All our lives are gone. I mean, the good thing is that nothing's changed from our perspective. Yes, the RCB comes in, but the way we need to look at it is that, man, the industry survived. Right? That's how I will look at it. The industry survives. Yeah, like from a point of where the industry was going to shut down to just RCB being the question as to how it's going to release or not release, I think that doesn't matter. Like in the overall scheme of things, fine, whatever, man. Like RCB is going to like get released or not released is a secondary question. But having said that, like if you're a winning player, then you're just going to make one deposit today, which is before the 1st of October, not get any RCB as well, and never have to deposit again. Think about it. For that, you need to come to the bootcamp. All of y'all learn. Okay, guys, before we take the next question, please, one request. We've had 100 people. I've put in a link. We've put in a link in the chat. Please fill that link out. It's just a simple name, number, and email ID. Just please fill that link out for me. I've seen only like 30, 40 people have filled it. There are about 50, 60 people that haven't filled it. Also, at the end of this session, after everyone's filled it out, there will be a deposit bonus that Bazi's given me just for this crew. I think it's just for this crew. Maybe they've given it for everybody else, but I got a message saying just put it out for this webinar as well. So please fill this link in, and we can continue this conversation right after this. I saw another chat. Wouldn't the volume of recreational players reduce by a huge extent because winning players won't take a hit? All hit would be taken by the Rex. My namesake Abhishek has said, wouldn't the volume of the recreational players reduce by a huge extent because winning players won't take a hit? All hit will be taken by the Rex. Not really. No, if the Rex lose and they basically deposit and they get like 100 for 100, I don't think anything changes, right? I don't think anything changes there unless you have a different perspective on that. You can come up and speak if you have a different perspective. You can come up and speak if you have a different perspective. Abhishek? Anyone else has any other questions? Anyone has any other questions? You want to discuss anything? I've put in the link as well at the moment.
I got a very bad beat yesterday in GOAT. Can you help me with that?
Bro, there are lots of deposit offers for the next 8 flights. There are lots. There's actually 25. I think they're giving tickets now for every flight if you deposit today. So I've taken tickets for every flight. Although I bagged. Yeah, I bagged anyway, so I'm still gonna like fire. Makes sense. Dude, it's probably one of the biggest tournaments, if not the biggest tournaments. Right? In terms of value add. By the way, KP, congrats on the Vietnam score. Sicko only. Sick live year is having. Okay, any other questions, guys?
Hey, Abhishek, one last question.
Yeah.
Like, since at least in Bazi's case, since they're bearing the brunt of this, like, do you see any impact in terms of GTDs for tournaments, like it coming down from a Bazi perspective?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too much of a change right now because what the GTDs have all been getting hit, right? Okay, so from an operator's perspective, if the GTDs are getting hit and if the deposits are coming in, I think nothing's going to change. Yeah, you might not see as many money makers or you might not see as many goats, but I don't think the daily schedules will change as much. Like your WTFs, which is 20-25 lakh guaranteed and stuff. I don't see it changing too much.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question from a Bazi perspective, if you don't mind. When you have tournaments like this GOAT, which are say with 10 crore guarantees, Bazi obviously has to make money. Otherwise, this wouldn't be a profitable thing for them. So wouldn't it make sense for more tournaments like this to happen instead of the other way around?
So honestly, tournaments is a cost center for Bazi. Where they really make their money is through cash games. You know.
Okay, so so you're saying they lose money on these on the big tournaments?
They lose. On GOAT and stuff, they lose money. So every ticket that you take is a cost for them. Like 5,500, they have to put into the prize pool, right?
Right.
So every ticket you take is a cost for them. So they in the overall P&L for tournaments, there'll be all these big tournaments are loss making for Bazi. They make money in the smaller tournaments where you have like 20 lakh guaranteed, 15 lakh guaranteed, where they hit the guarantees. So they have then they make like 10% on that prize pool. But in GOAT, sorry?
So it just brings more players onto the side effectively.
Yeah, the idea is to just bring in more players. It's a marketing expense. You know, so it's more like pump in money, marketing expense, get people in, blow it up, and then basically spend X amount of money on this campaign. You know? Samir is asking me, hope all sides come up with official stances. Yeah, I hope all sides come up as well. Yeah, so I can only, like I said, speak on Bazi's behalf. I can't speak on anyone else's behalf, but I'm sure I've given clarity to a lot of people, and now they'll taken this and use it for their purpose, whatever they need to use it for. Will GST be applied on cash games on top of the rake after October? No, not that I know of. GST is changed. The way they calculate GST is changed, Samir. So it's only going to be on deposits. So if most people don't know that GST was actually being calculated on cash games, it was 18% on every pot. So if you go even till today, if you go see your Bazi, if you go to click on the information tab in your cash game section, you will see 18% GST collected. So GST was getting collected on cash games. It's just that nobody really knew what was going on. But the way they calculate GST in this sector, in the entire industry, not just poker, it's like across industries, Dream11, Rummy, any real money gaming, is basically that it's going to be calculated on your deposit amount. So 18% is not going to happen. Awesome, KB. I'll see you soon. No worries. Yeah, so 18% is not going to happen. Will they charge higher rake on cash games? I have a feeling it might happen because they have to make money somewhere to bear something, right? They kind of have to make money somewhere to bear something. So it will happen. Like I said, over the next 3 to 6 months, you can expect various different experiments and various different changes to come up. And the best one is what is going to work eventually. The special code I'm going to type here, guys. You'll get the special code. You'll get the special code by you can either check my Instagram. I'm going to be putting it up on Instagram as well. My special code for the deposit amount. So if you don't get a mail, you can basically check my Instagram as well. But you got to fill in the form first, please, guys. And I can actually put it in here as well. Just give me a second. Let me just see. I'll just put it in. Just hold on. Let me see. Half you fuckers have still not filled it in. Okay, but I'm going to put up let me just put it up here. Hold on. Please just fill it in, man. Do me a favor. How tough is it to fill in 4 boxes?
Hi, Goindi, Radhika.
What's up, Raj?
So what are your views on playing on international sites now?
I can't really speak to that, to be honest.
Why can't you
Because
say? I thought we're just talking openly about
but the session's
just another
getting
platform,
recorded.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to comment on stuff that I don't know much about. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, the thing is, I don't know how most of these sites are operating. I don't know what law. I don't know what the law says in terms of where the loophole is. So I really don't know much. Like earlier, I knew the loopholes. For example, I'll just give you an example of what I'm trying to say. You know, like earlier, there was a loophole of withdrawal of 10,000 rupees. If you guys remember, you could withdraw up to 10,000 rupees tax free, right? Until last year, if I'm not mistaken. That was a loophole. So some websites, some websites basically said, okay, per transaction it's allowed. Some people said no, above 10,000 it's not, is completely taxed. You know, some websites were letting you basically withdraw up to like three transactions a day. You know, so there was a legal loophole there which everyone is exploiting. So that was open to interpretation. When it comes to international websites, I honestly don't know how the transfer of money is happening. I don't know how the money gets converted, because you're depositing in rupees and you're playing in dollars. So I really don't know. So I don't really want to comment on something I don't have
Right,
enough information.
I understand it's a gray area. And
Yeah.
so obviously, I mean, I'm just seeing 569 is also saying that it isn't legal, no need to answer. Shobit bro, it's not about like, I'm just talking openly. I've got nothing to do with any international website or anybody for that matter anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, since this is an open forum, I thought there's absolutely no problem talking about it, which is why I just brought up the question. Secondly, they have another point altogether, is that you know, I mean, it's pretty easy to realize that the entire poker industry is pretty much collateral damage to actually the people that this whole GST thing was actually targeted for, which is the actual real gaming, where the volumes are, you know, 1000x of what we do, of what poker does, you know, compared to the Dream 11s and the fantasy cricket things and all of that. So obviously we are collateral damage, and we're going to have to bear the brunt for things that the other gazillions of Indians are doing. We are getting fucked, right? Can't we? And now, I mean, just seeing that you've got 100 people here, a lot of influencers and you know, people who can make a difference, or maybe just get together. And isn't this the point in time where maybe the Indian poker industry needs some sort of lobby, and maybe this could be the starting point, because there are so many people here and we are all in the same shithole right now.
So I'll tell you how it works. Okay, so I'll tell you how it works. Based on a little bit of information that I have, and I know I've been involved in some of this in some of these meetings, right? So the way it works is, lobbying firstly is very, very different. You and I can't lobby in today's world because you need power, you need muscle power, you need a bunch of stuff, you need political connections, you need too many things, right? So there are some lobbies and there are some self-regulatory bodies as well that are now out in the market, right? Where like AIGF, for example, is a body. Like AIGF, I think there are 3 or 4 more bodies. I think Kanchan and Deep are working with a couple of self-regulatory bodies as well during that whole fiasco that happened in one of those
there is.
right?
Oh, hi,
So
Goli. Yeah, there is EPWA. There
yeah,
are a couple of them.
EPWA. Yeah, they're all self-regulatory bodies, right? So their entire job is to basically lobby with the government, or you know, like to make sure that these regulations come in. You and I are like small players in this entire space of thing. Now, when you talk about poker, Raj, about poker needing a lobby, poker is a subset of a bigger ecosystem. The bigger ecosystem is basically your fantasy gaming, your rummy, your real money gaming across different apps, and then this poker, right? So poker is not big enough independently, but it basically is cousins with all of these, like Rummy, Dream 11, all of these things, that fantasy gaming basically.
Yeah,
so it's basically,
which is actually what I said, is that we are the cousins and we are getting fucked, right?
yeah,
Because
but
even though,
the thing is, the lobby is going to make decisions for the entire group. It's not making
Okay, I
decisions
understand
just for fantasy, or it's not making decisions just for poker. It's not making decisions just for rummy, right? It's basically taking in the entire basket and going out and saying, okay, these are the laws, these are not the laws. Having said that, even today when I was speaking to the Bazi guys to get some clarity before this session, they were also saying that, dude, it really depends on the government, man. You know, the government, it's really depends on who comes into power in the next 6 months, because the elections are happening in the next 6 months. So depending on who comes into power, who the new ministers are, who's appointed, who's not appointed, all the changes will happen, right? Currently, they're going after everybody. It's not just us. You know, like if you look at cryptos, they've gone after cryptos.
Yeah.
They're going after the alcohol. They're going after everybody. They just want money right now before the elections, right? Is how I perceive it.
I also heard something similar, like, you know, some similar views from like people following the news very regularly and stuff, that this could all just be for the elections, just gathering more money and a little positive momentum in terms of like showing that they're going anti-gambling and all that. But like ultimately the government is a business and they need money, and RMG is such an up and coming industry that's making so much money for the country. Like why not? Like, you know, why would they want to shut something, kill something like that with double taxation?
Yeah. So that's, and the whole idea of saying, okay, 6 months and we'll review it is basically A, to try to make as much money, and B, to show them that, hey, you know, we're still concerned about you guys. We want to see if this new system works or doesn't work. You know, what will actually be detrimental is if this new system gives them more money and we survive. You know, so
Which
that
is
I think would be
which is what
detrimental.
is scary. Like if all the websites do start giving bonus and they continue running this, and what if this stays the norm, then it's gonna be like a really shitty scene. Yeah.
Then it's like we'll be giving them a bad beat. Then they'll be like, what the fuck, you know, we did this, but kuch nahi hua, you know.
Yeah. But the way I perceive it,
But that's the thing. I'm actually gunning more towards the integrity that is required in this industry. Even though we may, like you said, maybe cousins or maybe the offset of a bigger system that's been going on for a while, which is operating in gazillions of crores. Like I said, we may just be like one small portion of it. But isn't this a good time to get a little tighter as a group, and then maybe something comes out of it?
Right now, for the next 6 months, they're not going to really do anything for us, because their entire focus is to win the elections. Think about their problems. They don't give a fuck about like 2 lakh poker players who are like, oh, we want to win the moneymaker. You know, like
did you just say 2 lakh? You meant 2,000, right?
No, 2 lakh. I mean, they're like 4,000 people every night, dude. Like 2 lakh in terms of like people who are just playing poker is what I mean. 2-3 lakh people effectively. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is they care about like winning the elections at the national level. Think about the scale of which they're thinking. They don't give a fuck about us, right? So the way I look at it is 2 months back or 3 months back, people are like, oh, what's going to happen in the industry? What's going to happen to our careers? We're not going to be able to make money. We have to move out of the country. Are you going to continue to stake? Are you going to continue to coach? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? I mean, like today, like the industry is there. Like the solution has come in, and we continue to play, and the GOAT is going on, and continue to win that, and all of those things. So I think we should look at it from a very positive lens.
Right. I was actually just going to say that. Sorry to interject again, but that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, at a certain level, and some people might think I'm stupid to say this even, but at a certain level, can't we just take this, just suck it up and think of it as inflation or something like that? You know, like, you know, what we learned, I mean, I'm not very good at economics, but you know, those Giffen goods or whatever that shit was, that like, no matter how much the cost goes up, the demand still remains the same. You know, so sometimes you just got to, I mean, if the demand is high, it's going to go nowhere. We will find other ways of just getting better at the game. Going to Pokerbootcampindia, learning from Goindi and getting the and and basically learn how to overcome that 28% that's not, so that we don't lose that 28%.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if bread ka dam goes up, we're going to go and buy the bread and eat it anyway, right? Like, so if we really want to play poker, I'm sure are going to figure out a way. It's a mindset change, It's just, you can sit and try and say, oh, you know, what the fuck, ab kya karenge? Or you just suck it up and move on, you know? So, I mean, that's just the way
the way I look at it is, man, the industry is here, nothing changes except for a small thing where we get like 22 rupees for every 100 in our RCB. But everything else changes. And I would suggest to even avoid that RCB thing, just deposit as much as you can today. I've put in that deposit code. I've put in that deposit code in the chat, but please fill up that form for me first, man. It's like 30 seconds. Like you just have to put your name, number, use that deposit code, let me know, and use all these codes, man. All the websites, just exploit the websites codes today. That's all I'm gonna say.
What is the deposit code, Gundi?
I'm just there's a 10% deposit bonus up to 20%, and then I think the GOAT has all the flights for 25,000 rupees.
That I'm aware of.
Yeah, but then I have an additional 10%, which I think it's there. I'll just post it again. Sai, you can post it again. I think you joined a little late, Kanchan, but I'll just post it again.
I was actually.
Yeah, so up to 20K, you can get a deposit bonus up to 20K. So I think for 2 lakhs you can deposit, you'll get 20K.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll just put it in the chat.
But yeah, kudos to Bazi, man, for taking this hit. Like, that's a big thing. Was not expecting
I know. And
Abhishek, this is, for example, if I am buying a ticket for GOAT, I cannot use the same code along with that, right? I mean, it is separate altogether.
Yeah. You have to deposit separately.
Okay, so you're supposed to bring us more bonus rather. Anyway, I'm
think-
getting 20% with the ticket.
Yeah, so no, but that's a ticket. This is RCB. You can use it for both. You can use it either for tournament or for cash. That is only for the tournament, right? For good. Let's say you want to play some other tournaments. You can use this, no?
Yeah.
Let's say you deposit this, you'll get another ticket for today's flight, technically. If you want to play 2 bullets, you can still use this. You can use the ticket from the previous bullet and this. Think about it. Yeah. Goats codes are there on the website itself. You can just log into the Goats codes. Okay. Any final questions, guys, before we wrap up?
Thank you for
Yeah.
doing this, man. I mean,
Thank you so much, coach. Very helpful.
I'm glad you guys
Thank you,
loved
Abhishek.
it. I'm glad you guys loved it, and we'll do more of these. See you guys soon, and see you guys at the hand history, man. Hope you guys come in for the hand history sessions. Awesome.
thank you.
Awesome
Bye.
session, bro.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Govindy.
Bye,
Thanks,
bye,
Govindy.
bye. Thanks. Bye.